Good morning, all of you. I'm Dr. Suraiya Shahin, and today I will deal a short story, The Last Dung Cake. This story is also mentioned in the syllabus of Delhi University under English Language through Literature too. The Last Dung Cake is a short story by Joshi Uma Shankar. The writer has reflected a picture of Indian rural life of pre-independent India. In this story, The Last Dung Cake, the meaning of the word dung cake is a culturally specific term, and its surface meaning reflects the deeper meaning of a ritual when it is carried by the chief male mourner at a funeral to light a fire to cremate the dead body. That's why the title of this short story refers to something when the last practice is done to a person on the death. In the beginning of the story, we find the conversation between Himmat and Veni Lal, who are the male characters in this story, and Jivi is a leading female character in this story. When the story starts, Himmat and Venilal are discussing about GV, which reflects the social issue of objectification of a woman by looking at how she walks or how her face glows. GB goes outside to collect embers to light a fire. Her face suddenly revealed the reddish glow of the evening, which had seemed to have disappeared. She found Himmat and Venilal kept staring at her with immense joy, and they kept smiling. Jivi didn't like their otherwise smile, and the anger erupted inside her. She angrily retorted them, Rascals, go and smile in front of your mothers. The writer has presented Jivi, a strong and revolutionary female character, as we find her revolting against the weird behavior of Himmat and Venilal. The writer has also presented the bond of love and attachments between the female characters. The most interesting part of the good relationship is described between Jivi and her old mother-in-law, who is a widow in this story. Their bond in their relationship is contrary to the presenting existing society where widows are hardly respected in the family. It is equally uncommon bond and affection from the part of the old lady with her daughter-in-law Jivi. On the other hand, the writer has presented Venila's mother as a woman coated with old customs and tradition, as she explicitly stated that Jivi and her mother-in-law would go to hell only if they get the last rituals done by Venilal after their death. Her words expressed her sorrow for her immoral son when she said, if Venilal lights the fire to our dead bodies with his own hand, we are sure to go to hell. So the writer also exposed the patriarchal structures of the Indian society where women's voice is suppressed and ignored. Although the writer has not mentioned about Venilal's wife, if we suppose her presence, then no doubt she too would have been depicted as a victimized woman at the hand of patriarchy. The writer must have portrayed her behavior, her character, contrary to the character traits of Jivi. Okay. In the later part of the story, the writer exposed the people-independent mentality and mature relationship between Jivi and her mother-in-law, as it points out the fact that women together can live with peace and look towards achieving their goals. They can to create works if they are free from the oppression of patriarchal society. Jivi and her mother-in-law were living together with peace and harmony, and they took decisions jointly in their familial issues. As the story proceeds, we find the key points of the story in the conversation between Jivi and her mother-in-law when the old mother-in-law requested Jivi to practice her funeral and lit fire of dung cake herself. Okay, now Jivi, Jivi's old mother was hardly able to utter a word because of her failing health, because she was too old. But she had no choice but to speak in a trembling voice. And she said to her daughter in law, Jivi, Jivi, are you coming or not? They are only pieces of a dung cake. Let them be. It is not a full dung cake. Let their fate be cursed. It was the statement of Jivi's old mother-in-law. Jivi and her mother-in-law knew that they were going to break the boundary of patriarchy and the cycles of stereotype which didn't allow women to light the funeral and not even attend the cremation. So Jivi and her mother-in-law's ideas regarding practicing the funeral performance reflect women's courage in a patriarchal society. Their beliefs didn't lie in the concept that one gets the heaven only if the right last rituals and funeral are performed by a man. The writer here clearly states that before independence and even after independence, women are denied from attending any public procession like funerals, as patriarchal society simply viewed women who have been guided and protected by men. But here, through the voice of Jivi and her mother-in-law, the writer presents revolutionary voice and symbols who are raising their independent voice against patriarchal structures. As the old mother says to Jivi, never mind, dear, but listen, if it so happens that I die, I am old, you know, and I am getting unwell of late. Everybody is after me, and if I meet death by chance, do one thing, will you? So Jivi was surprised, and Jivi replied, yes, mother-in-law, please tell me what you want me to do on your death. Her mother-in-law said, see, my daughter-in-law, when I die, you should yourself lead the funeral with a dung cake. If Veni or Veni's son or someone else performs it, my soul will go to hell. Now I have told you, tell me, will you be able to do this? Her daughter-in-law, Jivi, muttered in semi-consciousness, and she said, yes, of course, mother-in-law, where is the problem? I will drive everyone away, and they will all feel strange, but so what? Jivi knew that if she performs the funeral of her mother-in-law, it will surprise everyone. People will take it otherwise because she is a woman and the patriarchal practices restrict her from doing it. Still, she promised to do it. However, it was a slap to a patriarchal society. Finally, through the character Mangu, who is Vanilal's son, the writer has tried to present the faith in humanity and created an awareness inside us that while there prevails evil, ugliness, and immorality in this society, yet humanity is beautiful and we feel deep love for someone when we lose that person forever. And how do we feel at the time of funeral? So इस स्टोरी में राइटर ने पेट्रियार्कल स्ट्रक्चर्स को तोड़ने की बात की है. दो फीमेल कैरेक्टर्स है जीवी एंड हर मदर इन लॉ, जिसके थ्रू राइटर ने बाउंड्री ऑफ पेट्रियार्की को वैनिश करने की बात की है कि कैसे जीवी के मदर इन लॉ का डिजायर होता है कि उसका अंतिम संस्कार उसकी डॉटर इन लॉ जीवी ही करे और कोई नहीं करे, यहाँ तक कि वेनीलाल भी ना करे, नहीं तो उसका जो सोल है वह मरने के बाद वह वह क्या है, हेल में वो चली जाएगी। सो जीवी को यह थोड़ा सा अजीब लगता है कि क्योंकि अकॉर्डिंग टू हिंदू रिलीजन क्या होता है, जब अंतिम संस्कार के टाइम में आग जो है मेल कैरेक्टर ऑफ द फैमिली ही देता है। लेकिन फिर भी वह जीवी जो है वह थोड़ा सोच विचार कर बोली ठीक है, मैं सब मेल मेंबर्स को फ्यूनरल के जगह से हटा दूंगी और खुद ही अपने डेड मदर इन लॉ को आग मैं दूंगी। सो लास्ट में राइटर हमें फीलिंग्स ऑफ लव इन द बॉन्ड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप का मैसेज देता है कि हम कैसा फील करते हैं, कितने दुखी होते हैं जब हम अपनों को हमेशा के लिए खो देते हैं। हाउ वी आर डीपली पेन्ड एट द डेथ ऑफ नियर एंड डियर वंस। थैंक्स फॉर टुडे, वी मीट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास।